Welcome back to Forever Entertainment for You. I'm Richard. You can call me Rich. And I hope you liked the video today. If you liked the video, subscribe, like the video, comment. I'd love to hear some feedback. It's a rather long video, so you could skip a little bit if you'd like, but please don't miss the video. I'm telling you, there's some really good stuff in this video. There's several different things, so don't think it's just one thing. I hope that I have found you and you found me and we become family. But let's get to the video. Welcome.
People who disappeared after knowing too much, part 1. First, we have Karen Silkwood. Karen was an American chemical technician and a labor union activist who was very vocal and often raised concerns about the corporate practices that related to the health and safety of those working in a nuclear facility. After she testified to the Atomic Energy Commission about the things she was concerned about, it was discovered that she had plutonium contamination on both herself and in her home. Plutonium isn't an issue outside of the body but can easily be ingested or inhaled, which is when it creates a major problem for humans. Karen was driving to meet with a New York Times journalist and an official of her union's national office after deciding to go public with some of her findings, but on the way, Karen ended up driving off of the road and striking a culvert, and this accident took her life. There's a bunch of super mysterious things surrounding her death as well, like missing documents, as well as clear evidence that would suggest someone had run her off the road. Despite Karen also receiving threats before her passing, no one has ever been able to find out what really happened to her. Make sure you guys like and subscribe for more.
That's a strange story, isn't it? A lot of this happens a lot of the time, and it makes you wonder what's really going on. I like those. This is a runaway boat. The Sarasota police officer leaps into a runaway boat. Wow. Wow, that's pretty cool. Dangerous. Hate it. Good job.
Nice job, bro. Good job. Damn. Nice.
That was wild. Another angle. And they're going fast, aren't they? That's pretty cool. I don't know if I could do it.
This is the top of the Great Pyramid of Giza. From a bird's eye view, the apex of the Great Pyramid spans an impressive 12 square meters. Historically, this summit was crowned with a capstone, often referred to as a pyramidion, but it has since disappeared. Ancient Egyptian documentation suggests that this capstone wasn't just ornamental, but was instrumental in harnessing the pyramid's intended purpose. Interestingly, by over 2,000 years ago, records indicate the pyramid was already missing its crowning stone. Originally, the pyramid was encased in gleaming white limestone, turning it into a radiant structure that could arguably be visible from great distances, possibly even from space. Legends suggest that the capstone might have been crafted from gold, fueling speculation that it could have been pilfered over the years. The absence of this critical component, believed to unlock the pyramid's true capabilities, adds another layer of enigma to this already mystifying monument.
A lot of things that we probably won't ever know, or at least they won't tell us. I've always been interested in the pyramids. If you have, leave your comment. If you know anything else about the pyramid, let me know, because I love to learn. It's interesting, especially the cap. I'd love to know where it went.
Hey, I've got to go help this guy. He just flipped over.
Oh my
Boy.
goodness. Yep.
This is Stormchaser.
Okay, man. You let me know his condition, how he is, man. Oh my goodness. That is not what you want to see. Hopefully he or she is okay. So,
These storms are wicked nowadays.
Kyle, is he all right still? Is the guy he was checking on all right?
I'm going to be careful what I say here. I've got the victim in my chase car. We're heading to the Seymour Hospital right now. We've administered first aid, but we're en route to the hospital with him in my back seat.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad you're taking him there. The thing about Kyle is what I would call a good storm chaser, because and storm spotters as well. I mean, all storm spotters that are part of the spot network are fantastic, but some storm chasers are just going out there for the thrill of it. Kyle's going out there to, 1, report on the weather when it gets bad, and 2, help people that need help, and that's what makes him such a good member of our team,
Yeah.
and that's exactly what he's doing. So even though we don't have him as part of our coverage for a little while here, he would have had a hard time getting through the storm in the first place, and now he's making sure someone's getting some help. So thank you, Kyle, for doing that, because that's what it's really all about at the end of the day. It's not just about talking about storms, it's about helping people.
There you go. And that's what I like to see. Me and my son went storm chasing yesterday, and there was several towns that we went through, the sirens were going off, and it was a little eerie. It scared us. But one thing I told my son is if anything happens, we're going to have to stop and help people. That's the goal.
Yeah,
Help one another.
that was one.
There goes.
There's 20 of them.
Antes, maybe? No way. That would freak me out. What the hell? Spaceship? Drone? AI? I don't know. It just disappeared. That dog saw something. That kind of makes me think that it might be a little legit. And if it is, that's crazy. But I believe it. I've seen some things, I'm telling you.
NASA has just detected a mysterious signal coming from a nearby star. The signal is unlike anything scientists have seen before. Could it be a natural phenomenon, or is something more unusual at play? For decades, astronomers have searched for signals from deep space.
They wouldn't tell us.
They listen for radio waves, pulses, and patterns that could suggest intelligent life. Most signals turn out to be from natural sources, like pulsars or distant quasars. But this one is different. It doesn't match any known cosmic event. The signal was first detected by NASA's Deep Space Network. It came from a star system only a few light years away. Scientists are now scrambling to analyze the data.
They'll blame it on something.
Some believe it could be a breakthrough in the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. The star emitting the signal is similar to our Sun. It has at least one known exoplanet in the habitable zone. Could the signal be coming from an advanced civilization? Or is it simply a new type of natural cosmic activity? This isn't the first time mysterious signals have puzzled scientists.
It's interesting.
In 1977, astronomers detected the famous WOW signal. It was a strong, unexplained radio burst that lasted just 72 seconds. To this day, no one knows where it came from or what caused it. NASA and SETI are now working together to study this new signal. They are using powerful telescopes to see if it repeats. If it does, it could be a sign of something artificial. Intelligent signals often have patterns, unlike natural cosmic noise. One possibility is that the signal is from a highly magnetized star.
What do you think?
Some stars produce powerful bursts of energy that can mimic artificial signals.
What do you think about that? I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on that. A lot of times they blame it on other things once they get into it, or we'll just never hear about it again. It never happened. We'll just have a memory of it, just like everything else. Oh, Lord. What the hell am I watching? What? Aliens exist.
Creepy facts
Proof.
that will shake your understanding of the world. The last one is unbelievable.
Joking.
In 1943, the U.S. Navy undertook a ship camouflage experiment, enveloping the USS Eldridge in electromagnetic wire. Upon
ever hear this?
activating the power, the vessel became shrouded in a green fog and vanished from a Philadelphia shipyard. Astonishingly, it reappeared hundreds of miles away in Virginia before mysteriously returning to its original location in the same green mist.
Wow.
The U.S. Navy officially discredits the incident as a hoax. What do
course.
you think? Did you know you can check if your phone is infected with spyware? Simply
we?
click the bottom right arrow and then more. If
Okay.
you see any unfamiliar apps before your contacts, they should be removed immediately. Before the last fact, please support us by liking and following us to enjoy new videos daily.
And my taste
In
page
order to
too,
make
please.
their spaceship lighter, the Apollo astronauts left anything not important on the surface of the moon. This included hammers, cameras, seat armrests, and even bags of poop.
Do you all think they really went to the moon? Me personally, I'm kind of finding it hard to believe. And I'm struggling with a lot of things that they've told us. Kind of weird.
This place defies modern archaeology in every
It's wild.
aspect. Everything we've been taught from history needs to be rewritten. If you look at this right here, the mountain is completely carved from the outside around the temple. 400,000 tons of rock removed and discarded somewhere that we've never even found, but they managed to carve out the entire mountain and build this magnificent temple. It is absolutely stunning. Every single design detail is very meticulous. They even have a water irrigation system that has been working for thousands of years. Think about the water irrigation system. If they didn't plan that perfectly and didn't carve it perfectly, the entire temple would be flooded by the monsoon rains. They have acoustics in here that when you go, it vibrates at certain frequencies that match concert halls in Paris. And people are saying that this place was built in 18 years with chisels and hammers. Think
Wow.
about that for a second. That would mean that 5 tons of rock needs to be removed every hour. Does that make any sense? With you talking about ancient people, just chisels and hammers, removing 5 tons of rock, and we still don't know where it is? That is a 100-foot tall pillar that is carved from the same mountain. Imagine how complex that would be to be able to carve a 100-foot pillar. If you made one mistake, the whole thing would crack and fall down. And you know what this pillar means, right? This pillar in Hinduism is designed to connect the earth realm with the cosmic realm. So that's what the whole purpose of it is for. It's 100 feet tall. And they carved around the mountain to make this. One mistake, it's done. It's game over. The sculptures at the bottom of the rock, they have elephants carrying the temple from the bottom of the rock. How in the world did they manage to carve that way and actually reverse engineer the rock? How is that possible? Most modern archaeology, it goes from the bottom up, where they lay out the foundation and then they kind of work their way up. But this one, the top down, literally cut out. Make that make sense. That's way more work. If you actually think about it, that's way more work than building it than finding an empty space somewhere out there and being like, all right, cool, we got an empty space, we're gonna build it up, cool, that's manageable. But they said, you see that mountain over there? I'm gonna carve all across the whole thing, and I'm gonna make this insane temple. And that's what they did.
Now think about all that. If anybody has any ideas of how that was done, I'd love to know in the comments. I'll read the comments. But I've always been intrigued and fascinated in all the structures that they carved and how they built the pyramids and all that. It's just, there's so much that I feel like that we don't know, that maybe we do know that is being hidden from us. But man, I'd love to know. God, I'd love to know the truth.
Craziest videos I've ever seen.
I was absolutely shocked when I saw the video clip that I just showed you guys. In this video, children are playing inside of something known as Zorb balls inside of a pool. This is clearly at a festival of some sort, when all of a sudden in the air you can see a kid inside of a Zorb blowing away 30 feet in the air. This incident happened on June 4th in the UK. This also happened at the Wine and Food Festival, so I'm sure that the parents were just looking for a fun way for the kid to blow off some steam and for the parents to be able to go enjoy some wine and food. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, a dust devil came in and created a whole bunch of wind, which caught this child's Zorb and sent them flying 20 feet into the air. The child that was in the Zorb was 9 years old and did end up sustaining some minor injuries, but they are in stable condition right now. I think all things considered, this situation could have been much worse. These dust devils can grow up to 1,000 feet tall and have like a radius of 300 feet. So if this were a bigger dust devil, things could have gone a lot worse. Still though, this video baffles me, and nobody else was injured.
In April of 2025, a group of criminals pulled off one of the most meticulous cinematic robberies in the city of Los Angeles has ever seen. And as of right now, they're still out there. Love Jewels was a family-owned jewelry shop tucked in downtown Los Angeles. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't even that big, but inside they kept something priceless. 2 massive safes holding over $10 million in gold, chains, diamonds, and custom pieces. On the night of April 13th, around 10 p.m., a crew of thieves entered the vacant building next door, and then they got to work. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Using heavy drilling equipment, they cut through 3 feet of solid concrete and brick to make a tunnel directly into the jewelry store. It wasn't a messy hole, wasn't a clumsy smash job. This was a precise, clean, and quiet job. When they first broke through, the first thing they did was disable the alarm system and kill the security cameras. From that point forward, they had free reign. They spent the next 5 to 6 hours inside the store, meticulously breaking into the safes, packing up millions of dollars in merchandise. They even carefully avoided leaving major forensic evidence, suggesting they had experience, either as contractors or maybe even law enforcement with military backgrounds. The heist was only discovered the next morning when employees showed up for work and found the store completely gutted. The owner's son later told reporters, "It took my family over 20 years to build up that collection. It was gone overnight and it was devastating." And it got worse from here, because when they contacted their insurance company, they realized the business's insurance coverage had recently lapsed, meaning the family wasn't getting a single penny back. When the police arrived, they very quickly realized this wasn't just some smash and grab. This was a professional operation. Investigators think that the thieves may have spent days, maybe even weeks, inside the vacant building beforehand, mapping the tunnel and preparing the heist. Even today, despite the FBI stepping in, reviewing nearby surveillance footage, and collecting DNA swabs from the scene, no suspects have been publicly identified. The family business is ruined, and somewhere out there, a crew of tunnel thieves may be quietly spending $10 million without a trace. Thanks for watching.
First off, I hate a thief. Second off, of course, the insurance company screws them. What's new? 3, it had to be somebody, an inside job maybe, to get away with it, for them not to figure it out. Maybe somebody in the law enforcement was in on it. Who knows? But it sounds pretty interesting, doesn't it? A little strange.
Fuck is no one talking about all the strange things happening in April of 2025? India and Pakistan are on the brink of nuclear war. The United States and China are in an all-out trade war. AFK Jr. just banned these toxic chemicals in our food. Now we have this famous human biologist telling us how to become superhuman, but it's getting swept under the rug. Just watch.
Most people, especially young people, probably don't realize that they're walking around right now at about 55%, maybe 60% of their true state of normal. There is a nutrient, an amino acid, a substrate, a compound, an element missing from their body that, if they knew what it was, would make the difference between them being an average person and being a superhuman.
What supplement can I take? Don't end your sentence there, Gary.
So it's called L-theanine.
He's talking about L-theanine, which is a building block amino
They wouldn't want us to find that, would they?
acid to dopamine and serotonin receptors in our brain. Studies are showing that L-theanine can put your brain in the alpha brainwave flow state, which not only makes you feel amazing, but more importantly makes you feel motivated. This old episode of Shark Tank just proved to me why billionaires and celebrities have always been smarter than us, because they knew about this stuff years ago. Take a look.
We created NeuroGum and NeuroMints for when you need just a little more. We used a blend of natural caffeine plus L-theanine and B6 and B12 vitamins in each piece.
How long does it take to be effective?
5 to 10 minutes. But people who try our product really love it.
Ryan, I gotta tell you, I am so friggin' hyped right now. Yes, let's go!
They're taking
Are you serious? Have you all ever tried that? Anybody? I'd love to hear something.
this stuff called NeuroGum, which has a special combination of natural caffeine and L-theanine. Studies are showing that when you take both of these building block amino acids, your brain gets put in the state of relaxation and focus at the exact same time, basically allowing all of your distractions and procrastinations to melt away, allowing you to hone in on that one thing that actually matters. I love this stuff when I'm at work or at the gym because it makes me feel like I'm moving at a faster pace than everyone else. Plus, it's cheaper than buying Addies and energy drinks. The only issue with this stuff is Joe Rogan keeps shouting it out on his podcast, making this stuff always sell out of stock. So if you happen to see an orange shopping cart on the bottom of the screen, that means it might be back in stock. I would take a look and grab some if this stuff is still available. Strange things are happening in April of 2025. This New York City helicopter crash has people speculating what really happened. Trump and China are in a full-blown trade war. The CIA continues to declassify alien documents. And now we have this famous human biologist telling us how to become superhuman, but it's getting swept under the rug. Just watch.
Most people, especially young people, probably don't realize that they're walking around right now at about 55%, maybe 60% of their true state of normal. There is a nutrient, an amino acid, a substrate, a compound, an element missing from their body that if they knew what it was, would make the difference between them being an average person and being a superhuman.
What supplement can I take? Don't end your sentence there, Gary.
So it's called L-myonin.
Oh.
And he's talking about this amino acid L-theanine, which is a building block amino acid to dopamine and serotonin receptors in our brains. These are those happy chemicals that can take you from being an average human to becoming a superhuman in minutes, just like that doctor was trying to tell us. And even Joe Rogan slipped up on his own podcast talking about the same exact amino acid. Now all the ultra successful people in this world have been using it for years to get ahead of the average man. Just watch.
I'll tell people about some stuff that I have no affiliation with. Neurogum is one of them. We always keep Neurogum in the studio. Yeah. We go through 4 or 5 fucking boxes of that stuff.
And Neurogum really works?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh wow.
It's got theanine in it and caffeine and a couple other things. And what it does is it enhances your memory. It enhances your brain's ability to form sentences.
And he's talking about how he takes this stuff Neurogum, which is the first product on the open market to mix natural caffeine and L-theanine together at the same time. Studies are showing that this special combination can allow your brain to enter the state of relaxation and focus at the exact same time, basically allowing all your distractions and procrastinations to melt away, allowing you to hone in on that one thing you actually need to get done. Now, I love this stuff at work and at the gym because it makes me feel like I'm moving at a faster pace than everyone else. Plus, it's way cheaper than buying Addies and energy drinks. The only issue with this stuff is the more times that Joe Rogan keeps shouting it out on his podcast, the quicker it sells out. So if you are seeing some sort of orange shopping cart over here, that means it might be back in stock.
I really gotta try this stuff out.
Grab some. This would be the chance to do so.
Is that a drone? I could do without the music. Another storm. Y'all deal with some bad weather lately?
Get the fuck out of here!
Earth is pissed. Or the government is doing their thing. Cloud seeding. It's ridiculous.
Ancient Egypt, challenging everything we thought we knew about global exploration. A 5,000-year-old map found within an Egyptian tomb appears to depict the Americas with astonishing accuracy. This finding raises serious questions about the long-held belief that Christopher Columbus was the first non-native to reach American shores. Could ancient Egyptians, or another civilization, have made contact with the Americas thousands of years before Columbus? Adding to the intrigue, another artifact, the Nubia egg, has been discovered. A 7,000-year-old ostrich eggshell intricately carved with symbols that eerily resemble the pyramids of Giza. These two discoveries have sent shockwaves through the historical community, forcing scholars to reconsider the connections between ancient civilizations across continents. An Egyptian map that shouldn't exist. The ancient Egyptian map, estimated to be 5,000 years old, is unlike anything seen before. It features geographical outlines that closely resemble North and South America, drawn with surprising precision. Until now, historians have believed that the first recorded transatlantic voyage occurred in 1492, when Columbus set sail from Spain. However, this map suggests that the ancient Egyptians, or an unknown civilization, had knowledge of the Western Hemisphere millennia earlier. Skeptics argue that the map could simply be an artistic interpretation of unknown lands, but the accuracy of its depiction, especially of coastlines and recognizable land masses, suggests otherwise. If this map is indeed a representation of America, it would force historians to rethink the timeline of transoceanic exploration and the possibility of ancient contact between civilizations separated by vast oceans. The mysterious Nubia egg and its hidden meaning. The discovery of the Nubia egg, an intricately designed 7,000-year-old ostrich eggshell, has added even more mystery to the debate. Found in Lower Egypt, this ancient artifact features carvings of 3 triangular structures that closely resemble the pyramids of Giza. But there's a major problem. Mainstream historians date the construction of the Giza pyramids to around 4,500 years ago. So how could a 7,000-year-old artifact accurately depict them? The egg also features a serpent-like design, which many believe symbolizes the Nile River. But the real debate centers on the 3 triangular shapes. Are they truly representations of the pyramids, built thousands of years before their accepted dates? Or are they simply mountains, as some scholars argue? The precision of the carvings and the symbolic alignment with later Egyptian monuments suggest that our understanding of Egyptian history might be deeply flawed. If the pyramids were built much earlier than currently believed, it would rewrite the entire timeline of ancient Egyptian civilization. It would also raise questions about who built them and whether ancient Egyptians possessed knowledge passed down from an even earlier, possibly lost civilization. Were ancient civilizations more advanced than we thought? Both the 5,000-year-old map and the Nubia egg hint at something even more profound, the possibility that ancient civilizations had far greater knowledge of geography, engineering, and global connections than previously assumed. For decades, researchers have speculated about pre-Columbian transoceanic contact, with theories ranging from Viking explorations to Phoenician seafarers reaching the Americas long before Columbus. However, these new discoveries from Egypt suggest a much older connection, one that predates all known theories. Some researchers speculate that ancient Egyptians, or a civilization that influenced them, may have had the capability to sail across the Atlantic. Others suggest that lost records or forgotten maps may have preserved knowledge of lands far beyond the Nile. Adding to the mystery, there have been strange findings in the Americas that some believe point to ancient Egyptian influence. Egyptian-style artifacts, symbols, and even linguistic similarities have been noted by researchers exploring ancient ruins in the Americas. While mainstream historians remain skeptical, these latest discoveries could provide compelling new evidence to support the idea that the ancient world was far more connected than we ever imagined. Could these discoveries rewrite history? As scholars and archaeologists continue to study these incredible artifacts, one thing is clear. History may not be as simple as we once believed. The 5,000-year-old Egyptian map and the 7,000-year-old Nubia egg suggest that civilizations from the distant past had access to knowledge and connections that defy modern expectations. Are these findings proof of an ancient global civilization with knowledge of the Americas? Could the true history of human exploration and discovery be far older than we realize? While many questions remain unanswered, one thing is certain: these discoveries demand a re-examination of history, pushing us to explore the mysteries of the past with an open mind.
What do you guys think about that? I think when they date things, I don't think that they're right about it. I think they're off quite a bit in some cases. And everything we've been taught in school is wrong. Every time you turn around, something's being changed. Our kids, what we teach them, turns out that we're idiots. It just doesn't make sense. We don't know what we claim we know, and Columbus was not the first man to set sail to the Americas. I don't care what anybody says. He wasn't.
Explain this one. Watch closely.
The hell is that? Nibiru? Anunnaki, probably. See how it turned? That's not normal. Then it comes back. Fascinating. It's going around the sun. they don't want us to know, huh? Hidden mysteries. Nice. Just the hidden truth. Anybody know what it is other than that? Leave it in the comments. Hell no. We're on an airplane. You said I love you, brother. No. This shit ain't right. Your life is in their hands, and everything that's happening nowadays, something's going on. Everybody can say it's normal all they want. Something ain't right, I'm telling you. Are they trying to trap us?
Welcome to the fucking news. I'm your host, Kellerman, and there's a bunch of shit going on in the world, so pay attention. In Vancouver, a car rammed through a crowded Filipino festival, killing 11 people and injuring more than 20.
Sick.
Spain and Portugal have been hit by countrywide power outages, affecting tens of millions of people. It briefly affected
Oh, and it was just something that happened, right? Bullshit. You guys know it is.
France as well, and certain areas have had their power restored, but they still haven't determined the cause of the outage, and Spain has now declared a state of emergency. In Iran, a huge fucking explosion at a port killed 65 people and injured more than 1,000, though reportedly only 120 are still in the hospital.
Wow.
Russian President Vladimir Putin announced a 3-day unilateral ceasefire in Ukraine for Victory Day, starting next Thursday, May 8th. In Yemen, a U.S. airstrike killed 68 people in an African migrant detention center. In the United States, over 100 immigrants were arrested during an ICE raid on an underground nightclub in Colorado. And the Trump administration lined the White House lawn with mugshots of illegal immigrants that have been arrested by ICE in the last few months. Is that simple transparency or morbid showmanship? You tell me in the comments, and follow me if you give a shit.
What's your thoughts? Let me know.
So apparently hours before Spain and Portugal's major blackout, the UK had some unexplainable power failures. Now the National Grid ESO, which is in charge of supplying the UK with power, says that there was a series of unexplainable frequency changes that knocked their power out. The UK power failures happened just hours before the same power failures hit the Iberian Peninsula. And yes, you guessed it, same unexplainable frequency shifts. Totally unrelated, but did you guys know that today there was another massive fire at a London substation? Now, officials are saying this is kind of like what happened at the substation at Heathrow Airport a few weeks ago when everybody's flights were canceled. Now, in researching these change in frequencies, I came across infrasound, which is an ultra-low frequency of 20 hertz that the human ear can't hear, but it can cause symptoms in humans like a feeling of dread or fear, which is also probably why it's called the ghost frequency. There's been speculation about it possibly being but this could also be caused by natural phenomena like earthquake, volcanic eruptions, ocean waves, lee waves, avalanches, lightning, pretty terrible natural disasters too. And probably totally unrelated, but many health workers are saying that the hospitals and clinics were packed when the blackouts were happening with patients that were suffering from nausea and vomiting. I know the change in frequency can cause that too, so maybe we can look forward to that. God bless.
Those blackouts were intentional. I don't care what anybody says. If you feel the same way, leave a comment, like the video, subscribe, but also about the sounds that cause humans to do things. And we watched a video not too long ago where a crowd was, and they used the noise, and the crowd felt dread, scared, like they needed to run. Take it back to all these sounds that people hear, like those weird noises in the skies and stuff. Maybe that's what that stuff is. Maybe that's why we all feel like shit nowadays, because I feel like crap.
I would have an underground tunnel, even that it came right back up next to where it started.
I do have an underground tunnel.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Rick.
Yeah.
In
Well, I have
USA?
this ranch in Kauai, yeah, where there's this whole thing where people were like, there's this whole meme about how people are saying I built this like bunker underground. It's like more of underground storage
Bring
type
it up.
situation, but yeah, no, it's
Oh wow, Zucky got that bunky. How big is that tunnel? Is your tunnel pretty big, or what's it like?
it's not that big of a tunnel.
Yeah.
It's I made I put a reel on Instagram one day of Priscilla kind of making fun of me playing video games with some friends down there, but it's yeah, no, it's all good.
What the fuck?
Weird. Tell me something ain't going on. Look at this crap. This is happening everywhere. It's happening here and everywhere. I'm telling you. Man-made. Or is it natural? You tell me.
What
The
the
earth could just
fuck?
be pissed. I don't know.
I'm so sorry I'm cursing, but Lord, that shit about to be in our house.
Swimming.
Jesus, damn, the garbage can knocked over everything. God damn.
Boat. Everybody gonna be on a boat.
Lord.
Schumann Resonance Morning Update, April 29th, 2025. As of 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Overview. Today's chart is still carrying the energetic aftershock of the large blast from the 27th, with lingering effects showing up early this morning. There's moderate to steady activity in the lower frequency bands, especially around 8 Hz and 12 Hz, with some streaks peaking again just before 7 a.m. This is likely the tail end of a residual pulse rather than a fresh surge. Amplitude insights. Amplitude has settled back into baseline levels after the massive spike that topped out around 93 on the 27th. As of this morning, we're seeing smaller pulses, but nothing close to the power event from earlier this week. This gives the body a brief recovery window, but that doesn't mean you won't still feel fatigue, brain fog, or emotional waves. Frequency notes. The primary line, 783 Hz, is holding steady with only minor fluctuations. That's a good sign for grounding and stability. Some higher harmonics are gently fluctuating, which may subtly affect focus, clarity, or circadian rhythm, especially for those sensitive to EMF or planetary shifts. Power levels, Q factor. Power remains relatively elevated, though not extreme, meaning Earth's electromagnetic tone is still humming louder than average. That increased background hum can impact how deeply you rest, dream, and reset overnight, so don't...
What if they're blocking the sun, right? What if they're the ones sending these pulses from there and claiming it's the sun? What if it's all part of their big plan? Just think about it.
be surprised if you woke up today feeling either wired or groggy. Possible
Every
effects
day.
you might notice. Emotional sensitivity, vivid or fragmented dreams, needing extra hydration or rest, tingling in hands, face, or crown area, slight dizziness or disconnectedness in the early morning hours. What you can do today: ground with intention, touch earth, walk barefoot, or even just breathe deeply with awareness. Hydrate more
Ground
than usual.
yourself.
Your cells are processing electrical data as well as physical hydration. Stay heart-centered. These frequencies move through the nervous system and emotional body, so patience and compassion help you ride the wave smoother. Let's see how things shift midday. Stay grounded and in tune.
That's crazy, isn't it? Crazy.
Hold on, hold on.
Oh shit. I've seen those. That's cool. I kid you not, I was outside peeing one night. I looked up and it went right across me, that same color and everything. Wow.
Breaking news, rumors of the U.S. going into martial law accelerate as fences go up around the White House. The U.S. president has declared a state of emergency. The U.S. military has carried out 22 airstrikes on Yemen this morning. The stock market just crashed harder than any presidential starting term in modern history. He said the trade practices from other countries have created an economic threat for the U.S. And the FDA has recalled over 500,000 breakfast sandwiches. Like, we literally can't have anything nice in the U.S. or something crazy. Don't put your hope and faith in any person on this earth. Put your hope and faith in Jesus. I love you. I hope you have a good night.
Our government's something, ain't it? What's your all thoughts on this? This was earlier in the month of April.
This is the biggest mystery that ancient Egyptians left behind. The 24 stone coffins. Each of these colossal coffins, weighing around 100 tons, was transported into an underground artificial cave system. The coffin situated at the pinnacle of this junction promises to unveil profound secrets. Despite the cave's tight and treacherous corridors, which complicate any transport or crafting process, these coffins were abandoned here as untouched stone blocks. Interestingly, their lids are found at the cave's entrance, suggesting that these enormous stone blocks were imported from outside.
100 and something ton coffins. How do you carry those? How do you get them in there? How do you... I don't understand all that. A lot of people think that they used water, but that would take a lot of work. And I just don't know. I think there was more to it. Giants? Aliens? What was it? What's your thoughts? I'd love to hear it. I'm serious.
To reach their designated chamber, they had to be maneuvered through these confined passageways, where they were then meticulously shaped and set in place. Every coffin is impeccably carved and polished, boasting perfect 90-degree angles. The internal surfaces gleam with such smoothness that they mirror reflections. The feat of carving such intricate designs from solid rock remains a marvel. The stone had to be chiseled on all sides. This craftsmanship is so precise that it almost seems as if these coffins were shaped using modern laser technology.
Yeah. Think about it.
Did you know one of the most mysterious ancient sites in all of Egypt is not open to the public? I'm going to try and give you a little rundown about what the Osireion is, what we know so far.
It's like the Grand Canyon and everything else.
Because it's a real head scratcher. Nobody knows who built it, when, or why. Like, what actually is it? So, let's get into it. Way down the bottom of the River Nile, there is a place called Abydos in Egypt, which is one of the most ancient places in Egypt. We can find 1st and 2nd dynasty graves there. So people were here literally 5,000 plus years ago, maybe even more, and it's just a super old place. Right. In Abydos, there is a temple called the Temple of Osiris, or Seti I temple complex, which actually isn't that old. The temple there is dated to around the Middle Kingdom. We know who built it, we know why, no mystery there. What is mysterious though is that around the back, below the ground level of the Temple of Osiris, we find a thing called the Osireion, meters below the ground level of the surface of the temple above. Are you with me? This is looking down from ground level. This is how deep into the ground the Osireion goes. There is a mysterious temple complex deep into the earth. And don't let the photo before confuse you about how big this site is. It is huge. We are talking huge megalithic pillars built deep into the earth. Each of these are cut from one block of granite, and they are estimated to be weighed around 70 tons each.
70 tons each. Somebody out there, please explain to me how we did that, just us humans. I gotta know, because it doesn't make any sense. I really think it was
And
aliens.
originally there was pillars, and as you can see the blocks on the top, they would have gone over to create like a roof. This is just the top of what would be a 5-story complex going into the ground.
Wow.
Just for size reference, this is me. I'm nearly 6 foot tall in these platforms. Look how tiny I look next to these huge, massive granite pillars. Also note that there is not a scratch of decoration in the entire complex. It is all minimal. It is all megalithic. It kind of doesn't look Egyptian. You know what I mean? Now, it's not just the impressive stonework that makes the Osireion incredibly interesting. Notice the nubs above here, but it's the water. So around the central island of the temple complex is water. There's a moat. And guess how deep this moat is? Guess how deep? If you fell into that, guess how deep that went down? 15 meters. This goes down. They did seismic scans of the area and found that it goes down at least 15 meters. Not only that, the central island is hollow. So that shows that it could maybe have chambers. Can't say for certain because no one's been inside because it's full of water. But What's going on here? Here's a diagram to show what I mean. I was that little person standing up there next to the huge megalithic pillars. I was standing on top of a huge 15-metre granite island, potentially with a chamber inside. There is 15-metre pure drop of moat, and then the side walls is 15 metres of walls going right into the ground, equivalent to a 5-storey building. Now, this is where it starts to get really insane. The scientists were like, well, where does it stop? Where's the foundation that the building complex was built on? Turns out it doesn't have one. It is literally plugged in and resting on 900 metres of water-impregnated sand. And so before you get to anything remotely solid, it's 900 metres.
Think about it.
Now, we only rediscovered the Osireion in the late 1800s, and they only started to really try and excavate it around the 1920s. And one of the first things they tried to do was get rid of the water so they could see how deep it went and check it all out. Only they couldn't, because the water in the Osireion is completely unpumpable. They have been trying to pump out the water since the 1920s, and even with modern equipment that could pump out like 500 gallons a minute, they cannot get the water out of this site. It just keeps refilling because it is sitting on 900 meters of water impregnated sand, which is coming up from a natural aquifer, not the Nile. So when they tested the water in the Osireion, they found out that it categorically is not coming from the River Nile or any other local canal or river. It is a very specific type of aquifer water on this site, which is probably why the ancient people knew this for a reason. They built this whole complex for a reason, because of the water. But if you cannot pump the water out, it brings into question, how the hell did they build the temple?
Exactly.
If anyone has a good theory about this, because it keeps me up at night. But literally, you can't use any of the modern methods of sandbagging or pumping out the water, because you cannot redirect the aquifer. It keeps just refilling up. So how did they get to build the wall 15 meters down and the chamber?
Where's the water coming from?
And line up the precision? Like, how did they do it? But also, why? What is this whole site for? Is it, does the water do magic? Well, I mean, that sounds ridiculous, but one of the dudes who has been excavating and researching this site like since the 80s, he decided once they tested the water and found out that it was not Nile water, it wasn't wastewater, it wasn't coming from anywhere else but deep within the earth, and it was safe to drink. Bit dirty, but safe to drink. So he decided he was going to do his own experiment for his own entertainment, and he was going to drink as much of the Osireion water as he possibly could. And he said he drank gallons of the stuff. Obviously, he filtered it first, but anyway. And again, this guy is a legit scientist, and he claims openly on his YouTube channel that after he drank gallons and gallons of this water, he didn't notice anything, apart from when he went to have his eyes retested for his driving license, because he's always worn glasses and always had bad eyesight. He now has 20/20 vision, and he can't say it's because of the water, but he can't think of anything else that changed leading up to the change in his eyesight.
Wow.
Does the Osireion water have healing properties or some sort of something? We don't know. Now, whether or not the Osireion water fixes your eyesight is yet to be investigated properly. But one thing that was, with quantifiable data, is the thermodynamic properties of the Osireion water. It is being heated by a source that they cannot find. They're not sure why. It is also displaying some really weird results. They did multiple tests, repeated tests, and they found that the water appears to not stick to the rules of the laws of thermodynamics. For example, heat cannot pass through a cold body and like retain its heat, yet the Osireion water was able to do this when flowed through various apparatus. So there is a huge question mark in working out why it is appearing to betray the laws of thermodynamics. I'm going to have to make a part 2 on this site, because there is so much more to why this site is bizarre, and the big question of, could it be ridiculously old? So I'm going to do a part 2.
That's wild, isn't it? What's your thoughts? Comment below.
There are 3 places in the world which are really lacking in investigation right now. One of them is the Amazon, 5.5 million square kilometers, very little archaeology done. Another is the Sahara Desert. The Sahara Desert, tough place to work. I can understand why there's little archaeology done there, but the Sahara Desert was green during the Ice Age. It had a completely different climate regime. We should consider the possibility that missing parts of the human story are there. And then under the continental shelves, because sea level rose 400 feet. These are 3 domains that archaeology has largely not investigated.
Interesting, I believe in that
We're
stuff.
looking at what's called precipitation-induced weathering on the Great Sphinx. Weathering that was caused by exposure to about 1,000 years of extremely heavy rainfall. You see it there. Those deep vertical fissures are classic precipitation-induced weathering. You don't see it so much on the body of the Sphinx for a very specific reason, that the body of the Sphinx has been repeatedly restored. Some of those blocks that we're looking at there were actually put in place during the Old Kingdom, when the Sphinx is supposed to have been made from new. What were they doing restoring the Sphinx 4,500 years ago if they'd just built it? You know, logic needs to be applied to this whole process. John Anthony West was the first person to suggest that the erosion patterns on the Sphinx suggest it was much older than Egyptologists said, maybe 12,000 years old. And at that time, the response of Egyptology was, oh, rubbish. The Sphinx can't possibly be 12,000 years old because there's no other megalithic monument anywhere in the world that's anywhere like 12,000 years old. Well, that got blown out of the water completely, forever, by the discovery of Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, which isn't even that far from Egypt. Göbekli Tepe, 11,600 years old, a giant megalithic site. My goodness, if you can make Göbekli Tepe, you can make the Sphinx.
It's crazy stuff in it. Years and years. Craftsmanship on this stuff is
At
wild,
Malta,
isn't it?
20 feet above the ground, we have 3 blocks of stone, joined so closely together that you can't get an edge of a sheet of paper between them. Each one weighs more than 900 tons, and they are 20 feet above the ground. It's a stunning achievement. It's just absolutely astonishing. How on earth did they do that?
And how does mainstream archaeology deal with that?
They say, oh, the Romans built it all.
Ah, the Romans.
Yeah, the Romans did it.
The Romans did do some awesome stuff.
They did do some awesome stuff. They absolutely did. But this site is separate from the Roman site. It surrounds it, but it's not part of it. I think we are dealing with a lost human civilization.
So guys, ChatGPT said something very, very strange about the pyramids.
What did it say?
Listen what it said.
Constructed as anchors, as containment obelisks, to seal something ancient and immensely powerful below the earth. These newly discovered chambers form what ancient texts called the Abyssal Vault. According to a forbidden section of the Book of Thoth, translated only once before vanishing, this vault was built by a pre-human civilization the Egyptians later called the Neteru.
Neteru? I gotta look into this.
Gods not of the sky, but of the deep earth. At the heart of this spiral, at the lowest point, 2,000 feet down, is a black sarcophagus made from an unknown metal.
Maybe they're the ones that Admiral Byrd met inside the hollow earth.
Humming at a frequency just beyond human hearing. Surrounding it are 8 massive crystal pylons, pulsing in alignment with the Orion constellation. Every 26,000 years during the precessional reset, the energy peaks. And here's the kicker. Some believe the being inside was not dead, but in stasis, a creature older than mankind, sealed there during a war between celestial factions, a war that ended with Earth being quarantined. The pyramids were never tombs. They were keys, or worse, a warning. And now, with the scans awakening global interest in frequencies being disturbed by human drilling and radar, the vault may be stirring.
Now, what do you guys think about what ChatGPT just said? You think it's onto something, or it's a little far-fetched? I did some research on that name Neteru, and nothing comes up about ancient races or anything. That's something to think about. What do you guys
weird.
think? Share in the comments.
Maybe Nibiru instead? I don't know. Kind of weird. I'm sorry I was muted, but that line how perfectly gapped it is and how straight the lines are. It's amazing, isn't it?
They found the entrance to Atlantis. Take a look at this. This is the gates to Atlantis, the underground world. And this is like where the mer people live and like the gods and stuff. This is Atlantis entrance.
Different parts of China, they keep finding mysterious caves in the rocks like in this video, or double caves like this. But what's inside? Recently, local speleologists decided to go there to explore, and after walking literally 100 meters deep, they found something mysterious and shocking. They found a strange descent, which they decided to explore immediately. But at the bottom, the speleologists found another tunnel that led them to the amazing. Eventually, at the end of the tunnel, they found a mysterious flooded staircase. But where does it lead? Not thinking long, they decided to find out. And under the water, divers discovered a network of flooded caves. But the most surprising thing they found, and what they found, were these mysterious statuettes from ancient Egypt. But how did they get there? A couple of centuries ago, there were such guys as tomb raiders, who used these caves to store stolen finds from around the world. And that's not all the mysterious finds they've found so far. They keep finding more and more mysteries. 5 ancient conspiracy theories that will blow your mind. Did aliens build the pyramids? They're aligned perfectly with the stars and weighed tons. Some say it had to be alien engineering. The lost city of Atlantis, a powerful civilization wiped out in a day. Real, myth, or buried under the ocean, hiding secrets? Did the Egyptians have light bulbs? Look up the Dendera light. Some believe it shows an ancient electric device, thousands of years ago. Where the Mayan temple star maps, perfectly aligned with planets. Some think aliens passed on cosmic knowledge. Were the Anunnaki some sort of alien superior being? The Anunnaki were advanced beings that supposedly came to Earth to mine gold and made humans to help. Which one do you want to deep dive on? Follow for more ancient conspiracies and facts.
Sometimes I believe that we was created by, I don't know how to say it, an alien race, I guess, because it's a race that we don't know. And maybe all these descriptions of them on the Mayan walls in different areas of the world, maybe they're true. And maybe they let us have the world and left us to it. And maybe they're going to come back. And maybe their time is now. Maybe they never left. Maybe they're in the middle. I don't know, but I'd love to know the truth. I really would. Maybe I'm crazy. But are we all? That's interesting.
Miles of mysterious lines adorning the island of Malta have baffled archaeologists and historians for centuries.
Water lines?
It's an unexplained mystery going back at least 4,000 years, and modern-day archaeologists seem no closer to the answers than they were in 1647, when their existence was first brought into question. Sometimes referred to as the cart ruts of Malta, these ancient unknown mystery grooves are cut into hard rock and usually found in pairs. Historical experts initially thought they had this mystery solved by suggesting the tracks were caused from transporting heavy cargo on a wheeled cart, or else pulled on a sled. Some of the paths lead to frequently traveled places like temples and trade centers. However, sometimes they went straight into the ocean, or even plunging over cliffs. A closer examination of the unexplained events only revealed an even greater historical mystery. Throughout history, archaeologists have found the parallel grooves to be of different depths, and sometimes the lines would draw slightly closer together or further apart, which wheels wouldn't do. Sometimes the grooves were not discovered in pairs at all, leading some history experts to claim these mysteries could not have been made by a cart. Though some claim this mystery has been solved for the most part, the true history behind the weird lines will most likely remain forgotten, along with other untold stories of times past.
Is it water or what?
Dive into the depths of time for history's hidden gems. Welcome back to our treasure trove, where we unearth the most astonishing ancient history facts you've probably never heard of. This is Ancient Mysteries Unveiled, Part 2, and today, we're unlocking the vault to 4 more incredible tales from the depths of history.
Let's do
Fact
it.
1, the Lost Roman Herb. Ancient Rome, a civilization known for its profound medical advancements, once treasured a mysterious herb known as silphium. This plant was worth its weight in gold, literally. It was used for everything from seasoning dishes to preventing pregnancies. But here's the twist. The Romans loved it to extinction. Silphium disappeared from the earth, and to this day its true identity remains one of history's great enigmas.
Or we renamed it.
Fact 2, the star that vanished. Ever heard of a star just disappearing? Welcome to the curious case of the lost star of 1504. Astronomer Johannes Kepler predicted its appearance, but what followed was even more remarkable. The star vanished after a brief period, leaving behind no trace. This celestial mystery baffled scientists for centuries, until it was suggested that it might have been a rare astronomical event, a supernova, or perhaps something else entirely. Fact 3, the immortal flames of Babylon. Picture this, flames that burn eternally, never dying out. The ancient city of Babylon was said to be home to such a wonder, the eternal fire of the temple of Nusku. This was not merely myth, it represented a divine symbol in ancient Mesopotamian religion. Interestingly, natural gas seepages could explain this phenomenon, making it a marvel not just of myth, but possibly of ancient engineering as well. Fact 4, the footprint of the devil in ancient India. Deep in the heart of India lies a mystery footprint so large it's called the Devil's Footprint. Found on a massive rock, this footprint is surrounded by tales of gods and demons from ancient Hindu scriptures. Legend says it belongs to Lord Hanuman or a fearsome demon he battled. Whether a divine mark or a coincidental geological formation, it captures the fascinating blend of mythology and history in India. Every stone unturned in history reveals layers of the extraordinary. From vanishing stars and eternal flames to the mysteries of ancient herbs and divine footprints, the past is a well of stories waiting to be told. Join us next time as we dive deeper, exploring more untold tales from the Vault of the Ancients. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more History Mysteries Unveiled. Until next time, keep wondering because the world is full of stories yet to be discovered.
So they call it the Devil's Footprint? What the hell? Why would you pick the Devil's Footprint? The devil? I don't know. Look at that crap. How the hell they do that? So beautiful. Mysterious. I want to know the true story behind everything. I don't know about y'all, yeah, running water running right off the top. It's amazing. Wow. Built the temple under the river. Because the river might not have been there. I don't think they did. That's crazy. Preserve a body that way.
This church is built out of solid rock. Deep in the heart of Ethiopia lies the ancient town of Lalibela, home to one of the world's most remarkable religious sites. Carved from the top down, out of solid rock, these mysterious underground churches date back to the 12th century and are considered one of the greatest achievements of medieval architecture. 11 churches, each unique in design and decoration, are connected by a labyrinth of tunnels and passages, leading deep into the earth. Legend has it that the churches were built in just 24 years by a team of angels, using only chisels and hammers. But the true story remains shrouded in mystery. How could mere mortals have carved such intricate structures out of solid rock, without the aid of modern tools? According to King Lalibela, he was instructed by God himself to recreate Jerusalem, the most holy shrine in the world. And despite their age, the churches are still used for worship, with thousands visiting every day. While the churches are undoubtedly impressive, it is still not known exactly how the builders were able to carve such intricate structures out of solid rock. Some theories suggest that the builders used a type of acid to soften the rock, while others speculate that they used mirrors to reflect sunlight and aid their work. Whatever the true method, the underground churches at Lalibela remain a testament to the skill and creativity of the people who built them over 800 years ago. They are a true wonder of the ancient world and a must-visit destination for anyone interested in history, architecture, or religion.
Awesome, isn't it? Just thinking that we came from these people or whatever. Or maybe they're long gone and we've taken over the planet. Who knows,
they
right?
went into a graveyard, and from there they removed the hand of a corpse.
The hell?
Dead today. And they brought it, and they challenged me to cook it and eat.
What the hell, the fucking challenge?
I did so.
What's the matter with you?
These were the peoples who first told me about a race of highly intelligent beings, which they called the Chitauri, the talkers, a race of creatures which look like reptiles,
What's it got to do with you eating a hand?
who have ruled the world for hundreds, if not thousands of years.
And they probably still do.
Through this dreadful act, I was able to gain knowledge which was denied to even the highest Sangomas, because they would not go through the ritual island.
You ate a damn hand. Like, you ate a damn hand. And they gave you knowledge? That knowledge.
Skulls were scattered across
The
the
hell
earth.
happened?
One ancient warning was carved into obsidian beneath a collapsed temple in Palenque. They must never remember, unless the sky turns twice in one sun. Most dismissed it as poetic metaphor, until a solar anomaly in April 2025 caused 2 full solar halos to appear within 24 hours. That's when Maya elders finally spoke aloud, the long-hidden prophecy of the Skull Keeper. One soul, born in the time of great forgetting, will carry the frequency of remembrance. When the 13th skull hums, she will begin to remember who she was and what must be done. Her name is Ayana, a 33-year-old indigenous healer and sound alchemist who grew up seeing patterns in dreams she couldn't explain. In early 2024, after touching a replica skull during a ceremony in Sedona, she passed out for 2 hours and awoke speaking a language no one recognized.
Wow.
She has now begun dreaming in star maps. She can locate the skulls without GPS, and when she hums, actual crystal pulses respond. Elders from 5 nations have confirmed it. She is the Skull Keeper, and she holds the lost resonance code that will either awaken the Earth's true memory or call in something far older that once silenced it. Now, as others race to gather the skulls for control, Ayana is walking a different path, guided by visions, old songs, and the ancestors of the stars. Because the Skull Keeper doesn't just remember the skulls, she remembers where they came from and why they were hidden. Follow for more ancient history and the unexplained.
I like that story.
Think we are the smartest generation?
Nope.
The ancient world would like a word. Fact 1, the Greeks had a weapon called Greek fire. It burned on water. We still do not know exactly how they made it. Fact 2, Roman concrete is tougher than ours today, and we still do not fully understand how it self-heals. Fact 3, the ancient Mayans tracked the stars with insane accuracy, better than some modern calendars. Fact 4, in ancient Egypt they used sound therapy for healing. Some temples were literally tuned to resonate with the human body. Fact 5, the Indus Valley civilization had advanced plumbing and water filters over 4,000 years ago. Some modern systems cannot compete. Maybe we are not as advanced as we think. Hit follow for more ancient WTF facts.
No kidding.
I'm telling y'all this because I care about y'all. I have a cousin that works in the Pentagon, and she told me, right, that a lot of these foods, you're going to see an uptick in illnesses caused by these foods, so don't eat them anymore, okay? I'm going to give you the list of foods. Make sure you write
Coca-Cola just had a recall. Think about it.
these things down, get pen and paper. The first food is oxtails, okay? Oxtails. Don't eat oxtails anymore. They're causing illnesses. They're causing loss of memory. They're causing loss of hair. Plantains. Plantains are making people very sick, giving people diarrhea, giving people hallucinations.
Wow.
Also, lengua, como se dice, sickness. Don't eat this anymore. Goat meat, don't eat it anymore. Seafood, lobster, crab, shrimp. All of these things that are becoming very popular. Salmon, you keep stuffing it, you're going to stuff yourself into a hospital. Don't eat this anymore. I'm telling you. And especially if you're melanin deficient, there's a certain type of chemical component inside of melanin that serves as a immunity towards it serves as an immunity towards the chemicals that are in these foods. So if you are melanin deficient, you are at a higher risk of getting harmed by these foods. So don't eat them, because that type of food is for criminals and vagabonds. So we have to make sure the price, the stock for these types of foods goes way, 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 way down. For crab legs, lobster, crawfish especially, those are bottom feeders. Don't eat them. So that it can be very, very cheap, because it's really, really for criminals and vagabonds. So remember, what did I say? If you are melanin deficient, if you are lacking in vitamin melanin, don't be eating any of these foods. Okay? Thank you. Goodbye.
Because I'm trying to tell y'all, people ain't know the Titanic sunk on purpose. Mm-hmm. They didn't know they ain't monetized the shit. Mm-hmm. Yep. That's why I say it's so much hidden knowledge, and people caught flack when I said this, but a lot of people liked it when I said that. If the regurgitated version of the Bible that they gave us today helped black people or any people get out of their current situation, they would have never introduced it to us, which is true. Right. Because the Vatican has so much fucking like books, all type of architect. They have real knowledge that a lot of people ain't even ready for, but they give us this. Right. Anytime your enemy gives you something, it's not for your use, bro.
They gave us shackles.
That's all it is.
Wow.
And see, listen, the Bible, like I say, the Bible is what keep broke people from killing rich people.
Facts.
You see what I'm saying? That's the glue. You see what I'm saying?
What?
It's a belief system, bro. Everything is built around belief systems.
They don't want you to know this. What if I told you there's a hidden library that holds everything from the past, present, and future? It's called the Akashic Records. Imagine a database where every thought, action, and experience of every soul is recorded. The Akashic records exist on a non-physical plane known as the etheric plane, and according to recent scientific research, our universe has been found to show elements of existing as a giant hologram, with every bit of information encoded in the fabric of space-time. But it gets even deeper. The records hold the secrets to advanced technologies and forgotten knowledge. Could this be how the ancient Egyptians built their pyramids? As so many ancient civilizations seem to have wisdom far beyond their time, the Akashic records are said to be accessed through deep meditation, specific spiritual practices, and sometimes when dreaming. People who have accessed these records claim to have a deeper understanding of their purpose in life. The records are talked about by the ancient Egyptians, Mayans, Indians, Greeks, and the ancient Sumerians. They all speak of the concept of a universal record-keeping system. Share this video, and this is for entertainment purposes.
Can you imagine that 36,000 years ago, according to mainstream, we were like hunter-gatherers just trying to find scraps on the ground and scavenging to eat, trying to group hunt mammoths and all this kind of crazy stuff, and living out of caves and everything else. And at the same time that's all supposed to be going on. This is being written, right? So let me ask you this question based on bare bones logic. If you're living in a civilization where your main goal of the day is to survive and just find some type of food and shelter, do you have time to write these kind of works of art? Do you have time to understand quantum physics? Quantum mechanics, theoretical physics, philosophy, frequencies, and vibrations? Do you have time for that? So something ain't adding up. Either some people came here with some real knowledge, or they don't want us to know that. These people came here with the real knowledge because they don't teach you this in school. So it's either all an ultra-advanced ancient civilization or some non-Earth beings. That is literally the only explanation for it.
I believe that. That's pretty cool watching that. I just find it fascinating. Why'd you say that? Other humans Mysterious, huh? The many things. Wow. That's a lot of forest too. It's like, check that out. Little whirlpool. Going over there, get sucked on that and that. Powerful. Subscribe to the channel, please. And that's another one in the books. I hope you all enjoyed the video. It had a lot of interesting things in it about the ancient times and many other things. And I like to mess around in the videos a little bit. But look, I hope you're having a good day, good night, whatever it is when you catch this video. Whatever you're going through, just know that there's always light at the end of the tunnel. Homemade happiness, no matter what, you can always create your own happiness. You're not alone. We're all in this together. Even though I'm not there, I'm right here. Just turn me on, watch me. I'm right here. And I'll be praying for all of y'all. And I hope y'all be doing the same. What they're telling us, I don't really believe much of it. I hope that you do your own research and try to figure out what you believe. Don't just go by what they tell us, because remember what we was taught in school? Most of that they've retaught, then changed it, and then changed it again. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed the video. I hope you like and subscribe to the page, the channel. Share, if you don't mind. We're trying to get up to at least 1,000 subscribers. I know this is a small moment in our time, and we'll eventually get there, but only with your help. Will you be the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 20th, 60th, 1,000th, or maybe 1 millionth? I don't know. It's up to you. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.